Happy Thursday. Good morning, guys. Oops. Discord stream failed to start. Hold on. Oh, hold on. There you go. Gotta be careful. Need my Discord stream done. I can't watch another stream. Just playing, guys. There you go. Should be up and running now. Should be up. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Wiz says, what's the thinking on a Russell 2000 all-time high today? I don't know, Wiz. You guys can consolidate your thoughts, summarize it, and let me know. S&P, watching E-mini futures right now. Tech, pushing up. Anyone know why futures are pushing up right now, specifically on the growth side from being break-even yesterday? Anyone know of a big event that might be going on right now? A woman by the name of Lagarde, possibly from a European country, possibly over an entire union of European countries, that is on the board of a major institution of the European Union, possibly talking in the moment right now about something to do with rates, something to do with spending. Oh, right. ECB meeting. Bonds. What are they going to do? They're going to increase the pace of their bond buying program. They're keeping it at the same 2.2 trillion, but they're going to increase the pace. Why? Because they want to help also stabilize the yields, which we did see over the last couple of days. The yields have steadied because of the auctions have been pretty smooth. Yesterday was the 10-year auction. Went very smooth. Everyone picked it up. Again, the Fed's providing liquidity. What's providing liquidity? They're selling fucking bonds so that we can get some pump in the market, right? But if we're not buying it, then that's a problem. Yields go up. What happened? They were bought. Europe is now following through on their end. Again, just increasing the pace will actually help steady things as well. You're sort of increasing liquidity, which is exactly, it seems almost opposing to what we've seen before, but again, think about how the entire QE started. It's by increasing liquidity. That's how you actually stabilize, right? It is a little counterintuitive when you think of the whole reinflation idea and getting hotter, this idea of spending, but again, that's not the problem right now, right? That the problem is not on the bond side. That's not the problem. We're using yields as a benchmark for understanding that, oh shit, inflation might be getting going. But why are we not thinking that so much this moment? Because we saw CPI numbers come out on yesterday, and it was not as bad, and really not bad, but just it wasn't as high as we thought it would be, right? So that's good for stabilization and overall sentiment. So we're seeing again on the futures market, everything increasing again. Another green day. Some of you are going, oh no, not another green day. Yikes. No, I know you guys love your green days. So everything is up. S&P over 0.5%. NASDAQ continuing to bounce back. Again, it's got about 10% to go to its all-time high. Everything else is within 0.5% right now. S&P, the Dow is already all-time high. We're going to look at the Dow chart. And Russell 2000 is probably going to hit it come the open, I would have to say. If you look at the chart, you're basically right here. So you're going to be opening up at 229.5. It's literally right at the cusp of it. So again, thoughts on all-time high. I mean, everyone has seen for the last 2 weeks that we're all trading for the all-time high, but we were getting sort of pulled down a little bit by an average. So again, NASDAQ has about a year. It's about a year away from its all-time high. So how do percents look when something is violently beat up? It bounces back a little bit more. And why are the others not bouncing back? Because they're already fucking all-time high, right? Again, the Dow's been trading at the all-time high, has momentum. This is continuing its trend to the upside. So again, you don't want to be looking at dollar amounts, percent amounts. You need to be looking at the move. I always talk about this. It's really easy to get caught by thinking about what the price is. Like, I obviously tell you to watch price, but I'm not saying look at the exact value and get a value out of that. I'm talking about the move. So again, it's the move that matters. It's not so much the price that matters, because you could say, well, the Dow only did 1.5% yesterday, but you're missing actually the entirety of the whole point, right? So again, try to do that, especially right now, because it's really easy to get caught seeing it's just like on the day that the Nasdaq did 4%, and then you look at these things and it might put a different narrative, a different spin on it than it really is, right? Than it really is. So overall, again, everything's trending to the upside. We've been risk on. Now, the market had been going through a consolidation. We're still breaking out of that consolidation, right? We were sort of broadening on the way down. We had a pretty strong trend line on the way down. There's an understanding that there's a trend line of supply above all of the consolidation that we're at in the market, just like we saw in the Nasdaq. I'm going to look at that chart again. So we are breaking out of it. Really, the biggest thing here, guys, is that we're within our channels and our trend from before, right? Within this move on every single index, right? So again, we're within a move, we're within a trend. There is not like we've been risk on. The only time we weren't risk on was when all of this was going on, and we even acknowledged that through this we're going to be risk on. We're going to be risk on through this because again, this was fear from bond yields, which we looked at as being bullish. Now you can be like, well, that's just you got lucky, but again, the whole idea of the macro side with yields increasing, with the reinflation idea, is that doesn't just randomly go away. It doesn't just go away. One day we all say, you know what, let's all ignore it and let's go do something else. It doesn't go away. It's an economic factor. There's nothing we can do. So again, we bought on that here. That's not going to stop becoming. It's not like all of a sudden now that the yields are steady that the idea of inflation is going to go away. The fucking Fed purposely told us months and months ago, right over here and from the presidential election area, that we want inflation to go over 2%. We're at 1.6 on expectation right now. Let's fucking, like, what are we going to do when it gets over 2%? Are we all going to lose our mind? That's literally what the Fed is trying to do. So we're already losing our mind before we even got there. We're really quite a ways away. It might take a year or two to finally get to 2%. And so some of you have really short-term thought processes because maybe some of you are newer and stuff. This shit takes a while. So again, the market is pricing for fucking years from now. If you go look at the dot plots and everything, they are literally talking about 2 years from now to get to 2% inflation. Okay? So we're not talking about like 2 weeks from now, the inflation's going to be too hot. The economy is going to be too hot. No, we're talking about years and years from now. So again, the trading that's going on this is where I talk about capturing the move and getting in because you're not making a move. Yeah, our trading is shorter term until it's not. Until it's not. We make a trade. We don't make trades and hope it's going to go up the next day. No, we're making a trade and it may go from a short-term trade and it may get turned into pushing into a long-term trade, right? Why? Because we don't get to choose whether or not someone else is going to like our idea or not. Someone else wants to buy what we think is undervalued and turn it into something of a higher value. We don't really know. We make probability decisions. Sometimes it's not going to happen, right? Anyways, what's going on? The market's up. The market's bullish. Again, we've been talking about it all week. Fucking buy something. Dollar continues to roll back down. Again, we have a lot of understanding that this dollar amount is this here, just like over here, was a bit risk on for the value side and in the inflation idea. We know a lot of money here is coming from treasuries. This is money getting spent going into treasuries from the auctions and money coming back into tech. So again, this is not like a fear gauge or some shit like that. Remember that. So again, dollar movement is actually good. We want flows. If the dollar's not moving, then there's no flow. Volatility sitting on this 22.2 level. Again, it's almost counterintuitive at this point to use the VIX chart, spot VIX right now, because again, we know there's an elevated volatility beyond this. This just spikes in. We're basically only using it for when it spikes, and we understand there's a point at which we want to be trying to time the highest amount of volatility on the spot VIX, because it's also correlated to the negative side of the S&P. So again, when this is going down, it's because the S&P is going up. When this is going up, it's because the S&P is going down. So we're trying to basically time a bottom and buy at the low. That's literally all this is. That does not. Again, the volatility is actually higher than the spot VIX says. Why? Because the NASDAQ did a 4% move and volatility did not predict that, right? Volatility predicts price movement one way or the other, not just one way. So then why is everyone shorting volatility all the time if IVs continue to rise? Because, again, it's just fucking off. So we understand that there's a different level, and we have to create that story for ourselves or just, again, continue to use time. And so what we're looking for is when price gets to the all-time high, we're looking for a new narrative of timing, as in it's going to be moving towards further and further into the upside for a longer term, and not sort of short-term trading where we're back and forth and we don't really understand what our timing is, right? When we get into all-time highs, we can push for longer. So we're going to be looking to make those trades that are not so much like, okay, I'll just buy the 1 month, 2 month calls. I'll now go into that 3rd month, possibly 4th month. We'll see. We'll see. Again, you make these decisions. It depends based on different things. I talked about there are plenty of areas. There's plenty of areas. You guys are talking about quality of shit. It was for a moment from the Discord. Everything else was fine. So chill. On GE, for instance. So aerospace and defense have been talking about that sector. Again, that sector is doing incredibly well, even taking things like the likes of BA out of its hole, right? This is continuing to move pre-market. I'm going to look at the GE chart because GE is down again pre-market here. The whole aerospace and defense sector is extremely bullish, right? And we continue to make trades using DFEN, the 3x leveraged aerospace and defense chart, BA, TGI, RTX, ERJ. There's a boatload, right? There's a boatload. These are all doing incredibly well. The options, when you look at them, what's actually going on is everyone is understanding that there is a significant upside in the longer term. It's not just so much that the price is going to be up in a week from now, in a month from now. There's an understanding that price is going to be up in months from now. What changes on the option side is that everyone is going to be saying, okay, well, if I'm thinking this is going to be up in months from now, like beyond March, beyond April, then you don't want to be cutting your legs off in buying Marches and Aprils, right? That wouldn't make any sense. If you're expecting something to take months, then you're going to be buying longer term calls. So if you go look at the Junes on the aerospace and defense, that's where all the money's been going, because that's the expectation. So again, it depends on what you're trading. Sometimes you want to be taking advantage of very short-term moves, but there's a difference between having no volume there and then having a lot of volume in the longer term, because that's the expectation. That's the speculation. So again, be very careful when you're making trades. Sometimes you get into trades and be like, well, shit, I got no volume here, but the price keeps going up. Probably because they're in the longer term, because the whole idea is that it's going to take more time to get to where you're going. Now, again, it depends. Some things you want to be taking advantage of every single expiration, multiple strikes. But I just want to point this out because, again, a lot of what we see on the value side is a longer term. And I said you have to pick up longer term. If you bought XLE over here when we got the trend line break and we went all in from February on these big value moves, banks, energy, REITs, if you bought Marches, you bought Aprils, you got to get the fuck out of the position now. And you got no legs. And now all of a sudden you have to buy back in at what? 200, 300% higher average. Now it feels really silly because you've been in a great position, you've got it right, and you've just been pushing the position, and now you're going to get expired out. You literally you have an expiration date and you have to get out. So again, that's where when you make these decisions, in that moment, you may not be thinking a month from now. Some of you are like, I've never been able to hold fucking calls more than 2 days, 3 days. I've never made it through a week. You don't really get to know, and you don't get to decide. You have to plan for everything. You have to plan for everything, and I've talked about it with different things. When you make that decision to enter a position, yes, sometimes you're making it for just a weekend. But if you're making a long-term decision, especially with how we've been sort of trading value and the understanding, you need to give yourself some fucking legs and some time, and don't cut them off, because it feels really silly to have to sell or get out of a position because you kind of mismanaged it. And basically, gave yourself an expiration. Some of you are pushing marches still on some of these things, and that's just disturbing. It's disgusting. It's just disgusting, right? And I know you guys feel disgusted because you're just like, well, what am I fucking doing here? I've been watching. If you're in position and you don't add on to your position too, and I've talked about this as well over the last month, you're in a position and you never added on to it, even though it's your best position, and then you're gonna get expired and you're no longer in the position. You're like, well, why didn't I just add more like 2 weeks ago? What am I doing? I've been trending up the whole time. It's my best trade, and I've got like $100 on it. That's not good. That's not good either. You need your money working for you, right? Keep these items in mind, because as we continue to get further and further through the uptrend, through into all-time highs, some of you are still going to go, wow, I wish I bought at the low here. That's not even the problem. It's that for the next week, you haven't done anything and you're waiting and waiting. We talked about this yesterday. You need to, if you expect price to go through a resistance, don't wait for it to break through the resistance. Buy it before. If it's moving to the resistance, don't sit there like a mongoloid and watch it for 3-4%, climb to the resistance. You're like, well, I know it's going to, once it goes through the resistance, I'll buy it. Once it gets to $100, I'll buy it. Just fucking buy it already and push it up to that level and then make a decision whether or not it's going to break through or not. You leave points on the table every time you do that. You can manage a trade. You can get in and out of that trade if you need to, because if it's moving to the upside, you'll have buyers. It's the only time that you finally know what the hell's going on, right? You have direction. Other times you're just sort of going back and forth, and maybe it's this time that it will break out. And yeah, you have to wait for a break. If you're making a move, you don't need to ask yourself, well, I wonder if it'll go higher. I mean, I don't know. I'm just gonna wait for it to go higher and then I'll buy it. That's not how you make trades. You're never gonna make money if you think like that. Some of you still think like that, and again, you're gonna just need to make trades to get the fuck out of that, because you're gonna realize really quickly that you could have made 100% probably in that move that you're waiting for, and you just sat there like a goon, going, well, it is definitely getting a lot faster here. It's definitely going up, but I'm going to wait for it to get past this level and then I'll buy it, because Don put a fucking line on the chart. That's not what that means. This means sell at the resistance. If it's on top of it and it becomes support, then you could buy on it too. But you're acting like there's nothing before it. Again, be very careful, because I think a lot of you're very aware. You have good awareness and you see price. You're just not confident with pulling the trigger. Sometimes you just got to do it. Sometimes you just got to make the trade. Make the trade. Don't, there's definitely things that have moved a little much and moved past you, and you need to be careful about buying at the top, as they say. But you don't get to decide when the top is either. So that's exactly why you don't sell positions unless you see something changing. Z from yesterday. Want to point this out because, again, things continue to be the same as before, and we talk about this a lot, where it doesn't always need to copy history, but sometimes it does. Sometimes it does. Took the Z trade on the trend line. We talk about converging levels of supply. It's likely to move into that position. Here's today. So we had 11% here, another 6.5% yesterday, and today it's gapping up another 5% right into here, right below the trend line. How do we continue to manage this trade? We continue to climb the ladder. We don't get to decide. It's going to take more than one daily candle. And I'm using this as an example because we have a lot of charts that look like this big downtrend, and sort of leading into maybe a breakout of a consolidation. You don't get to decide when to get out of this position intraday. You don't get to. This needs to be 2 daily candles for a reversal here. So we're opening up here. If it does nothing all day and just sits here at 154, you do nothing. You don't get to decide. If the next daily candle comes down here, okay. You broke the support, take profit. Take profit on the position. Your stop should be down here still, though. Your stop should be down here. Again, think of this as not just Z, any chart that looks like this right now, which is a fucking ton. There's hundreds of charts that look like this right now. You don't even need levels. You can just understand the movement. You need to keep pushing that price. If you're not in a position, then you need to be looking for that point at which there's likely a break. And if price is moving towards it, you need to get into the position before it gets there. Because a lot of the, just like I said before, so for instance, if we look at this trend line here on Z, right? If we look at this trend line here, this is already starting to break out, right? And so over here, what's going to happen is price starts moving a lot with a lot more velocity. Now Z has a lot of trend lines, and so it's a little bit easier to manage this trade because we can understand support and resistance on either side of the trend line, and we understand the move a little better. You've got to be getting into these trades before it gets away from you and before you can't make a good decision or not, right? Because it gets more and more difficult the more it moves. Just like over here, if I asked you, how do you enter this trade? It starts to become almost impossible to enter the trade as it continues to move. There's an expectation in the market that we're going to keep trending to the upside, right? There's an expectation. We are risk on. We've been risk on. Even when the fucking tech, the entirety of tech was down over 10%, some of them 20%, we were fucking risk on at buying shit. Not on tech, but so again, think about what's happening right now. You know, a lot of necks are breaking. It doesn't specifically need to be tech, but just keep in mind if you're trying to make these trades, the more you watch it and don't get involved, the more money you're going to lose. So keep that in mind. Keep that in mind. Does lit move with EVs? Well, let me read what this says. It says lit. It's the Global Lithium and Battery Tech ETF. So I would say it would move with lithium and batteries. So first of all, batteries are in EVs, absolutely. It looks like the Tesla chart, right? It's just the Tesla chart with a little bit less movement because it's averaged with an ETF and it's benchmarked. It looks like Tesla, absolutely. No one got wrecked. No one got wrecked. And it doesn't. If you look at the lithium market, right? Lithium. We know that commodities are in a bit of a very bullish phase, which is basically in the media called a super cycle, right? So everything is bullish besides gold, right? Gold being behind because of a lot of other reasons, right? So other than that, yeah. We do like the lit charts, both lit charts. Both lit charts. This lit chart is completely different than the other lit chart, but the point being, lit is lit. All right. What do we got? We got 4 minutes. Again, today, listen, guys. What we have going on is working, right? If it's not broke, don't fix it, right? Small caps and value continue to just fucking destroy everything. There's never any like questions about whether things are moving or not. Tech is bouncing back and forth right now. Not much clarity still. It's actually just reacting to bonds every single day, which is, as a tech trader, feels really silly that your entire market is moving because of bonds. That's the exact opposite of why you trade tech to begin with. But, I mean, it's fine. So you're getting out of the woods a little bit. ECB news definitely helps. So what are we doing? I mean, yeah, we're going to get involved here. NEO. If it breaks this level, I will get involved. I like the China angle on NEO. Yes, I will get involved. I'm going to take breakouts. What do? I trade breakouts. I'll let it move a few points. There's some things I already took advantage of short-term trades, not specifically NEO, not specifically Tesla. They matter, though. EVs matter. They certainly matter. This is at 697, still underneath 700. Again, these start to break, start to get confidence. Absolutely, get involved, right? Solar, we're already in on solar because, again, we had levels that we could enter on. There's things like sun power that have trend lines that we understand and we can start to move through. We understand where this trend line comes in. A lot of converging supply. These kind of things, excuse me, these kind of things make sense and we can get involved with them, right? There's a lot of examples of this where you can make short-term trades, and some things are going to take longer. Why? Because the sizing is just completely fucking different. Sizing on Tesla is completely different. You can't just rush into a trade. You're going to need to get some clarity there. So again, there's a difference. What about things like semiconductors? We've been super bullish on semiconductors for a fucking year, and then they get tied into what happened? They get tied into growth, and so we had to remove them. Look how disgusting this looks. It's going to take some time. You can't rush into these trades, right? You don't get to rush into these trades. Look at some of these charts. There's nothing you can do here. There's literally nothing you can do here. Anyone that says they bought down here, I would never talk to them again. That would be really scary because I wouldn't know if they're like gonna jump off a bridge in front of me and say, "Watch this," and watch it run in the middle of traffic. That's what they're doing. It's too much. I don't trade on that shit. I'm not here to. Well, hopefully I make money. Maybe I won't. Oh well. No. So again, we need more clarity. We we have a great plan right now. We're making a significant amount of money. We're not gonna fuck it up right now, right? We're not gonna fuck it up right now. So again, you can take advantage of some, like, so for instance, the Dow pushing into all-time high. You can take advantage of it by trading leverage tickers and trading the options on them, right? Right? Look at UDow's up another 1.25% this morning. How much percent is this? Let's take a look. From down here that we bought, holy shit, we're up almost 20% now. Woof. Yikes. How much is that? A couple 100%? Yikes. Again, just, I'm staying in my lane. I'm staying in my lane. That's what I'll say. Staying in my lane, taking advantage of the short-term growth prospects, retail trades, of course, all the time. Whenever retail opens up, spreads them retail, I don't know, option positions. Let's see what we get. It's been Green Day every day. Today's Thursday. Green Day Friday. Are we going to get a Green Day Friday? Are we going to get even more bullish into the weekend? That's going to be interesting. That's going to be interesting. But we're going to get a bunch of bearish candles tomorrow, and we're going to need to decide, right? Because we're going to keep trending up into tomorrow. And so things get really interesting. Why? Because, again, you need to be making decisions based on the length of your expirations. If you have really short-term contracts, you likely don't get to keep pushing through pullbacks. What if we get a 1 to 2% pullback on some of these charts? You need to know whether or not you can push through that. If you have marches, you can't push through that. If you have a little bit longer term, then you need to push through those because you push your winnings. You can't let 1 to 2% or a day or two ruin your plan of pushing things further, right? So you need to make those decisions. Today is going to be certainly that. You're going to need to decide for some of those positions whether to, again, things don't, I mean, we can get fucking 7, 8 green days in a row. We've been doing that. We can do it in this market. But again, you need to be prepared. Chinese tickers looking great from the start. Billy PDD. Again, we were not bullish on Chinese tickers last week. Coming into the week, we saw China start to rebound. All those Hang Seng tickers start to do much better. And again, they're very much tied into our bond market. So as soon as that stabilized, see you later. A lot of nice trades in there. We'll see how the intermediary EVs do as well. I know Blink I mentioned, Blink, Plug, those sort of names. Let's see. And again, solar doing very well. So again, we've been a part of the solar move. So again, we are taking advantage of some of those tickers that got absolutely just decimated. Absolutely decimated. Not so much through the mega cap side. We don't really need the liquidity, and it takes away from our percent. So don't need to do that. Okay, S&P holding value here in the first couple of minutes. Let's do the round. NASDAQ. Let me show you the trend line here. Sitting right on the other side of the trend line here. Right on the other side of the trend line. We'll see how that develops here over the next few minutes. Small caps, the value side, holding the same value. Again, this is up. This is 85 basis points. That's up the most. How much was that SPY at? SPY's at 65 basis points. And the dirty Dow, 34 basis points. Again, relatively, that's still a bit more. Still a bit more than the rest. Let's see what we get here. Let's see what we get. Looks like a good open to get into. Those of you that just woke up, have not bought anything. Looks like a very good open to start getting into your positions that I don't know, you've been fucking off for the last week. Good time. Finally do something. Very good time. Very good time. Looking at the travel side, we get some big spreads coming out of the open. Big spreads coming out of the open. Take a look. Retail. Again, this DraftKings position, we're looking for today will be a day I'm deciding for this position. If I don't get, it's not even just the move, the direction. If I don't get the speed, the velocity to the upside, then I'm going to take profit on this position, those short terms, the rest that I have. So again, we're looking, today is going to be a bit of a velocity day because again, Friday, we've been green the whole week. Friday, I want to make better informed decisions. And I know it's going to be the top of a lot of trends. And so if we get if we get a pullback Monday day, then I'm going to push all my long terms through that pullback, but not my short term. So I want to be maximizing, pushing it to the absolute limit there. We'll see how those develop. What do you think? I'm just, again, going through some of the retail side and continuing here. If we look at things like XRT, right, still right at where it is. I know this throw off a lot of you. This is GME in here. Again, you need to be making decisions that are based on your position here. I'm still in my entire position here and don't really... I mean, again, this can be... You have no fucking clue whether this is going to drop another 10% or something in the moment. So you don't get to make a decision because you don't even know what's happening anyway. So you get stopped out then, right? Pushing this position, don't care. Don't care. And again, that's the ETF. The other retail stores have been doing absolutely fucking great, right? So not the best example. Continuing our bid move. Continuing the bid move. Lots of green still. Lots of green still. Anything that sticks out? Really the usual suspects. Not seeing, semiconductors I am looking at to get back into the range. Rad, I mean, so yeah, like again, the other retail stores you can see continuing. Rad, the trend line, since I know a lot of you in this one, comes in about 25.30 today, 25.30 or yeah, it's about 25.30 for the trend line on Rad. Keep that in mind because again, with the market putting so much demand on, that's where we're at. WBA is opening on the trend line. This is support. Again, this is where the shit happens. So, again, if you look at yesterday, you can quite literally tell by the trading on this trend line how involved the market makers are on this one. This is like, I mean, it's almost completely, it's like wrapping around this fucking trend line like a snake over here. People don't do that. People don't trade like that. So, again, this is way too tight of a spread for people. So this move is just quite literally market makers, and the only volume is on the option side. And what's happening is there's no actual fucking calls out there besides new market maker ones. So it's going to get really interesting over here. It's going to get interesting for sure. I mean, I have no idea what's going to happen, but. Make some notes on like pot stocks, right? Okay. Pot stocks coming off from where we bought. When do we get out of this position? When are we going to get out of the position? We don't get to decide when we get out of this position until it actually reverses, right? So again, this is still trending to the upside. We just continue to push the position. This could go to fucking 100. I don't know. You don't know. We don't even know the timing. You're in a position. You just keep pushing it. Broke through a trend line here. Looks like a lot of the other charts, right? We understand there's a lot of differences that are going to happen come later, and we need to see what it looks like comparatively. But again, you got to keep pushing those positions. I'm guessing a lot of people took this trade from Friday when we took it because again, it had so much support on all the charts. You could literally pick and choose which pot stocks you wanted to buy. What's going to happen here is momentum's going to get generated. There's going to be momentum. Retail's going to pick it up. That's when we start to think about selling, right? When there's a bunch of buyers coming in. when there's a lot of buyers coming in. Chinese tickers are doing very well. What do we got going on? COVID winners, Piton hanging out. Net on this trend line I'm watching closely. Upwork as well. ZI, again, the ZI move that I've been talking about. This, again, if you didn't pick it up down here when I was talking about it, this gets really fucking wild in here. It's almost impossible to make decisions in this area. So you just have to push it. And again, a lot can happen because I don't know what's going on with the volatility over here. This chart was trading pretty normally and everything was great. And then shit got absolutely nightmare fuel. This is some horror movie type shit. So again, when it comes back into this level, you're going to need to make decisions. I would add difficulty into one of those decision makings for whether to be in that or not. X coming up again, 22. 22 is what we're looking at for X. So. Let's see. Again, we're all-time high on the Dow. Everything else is pushed right up against it. S&P in the Russell is pushed right up against it. Remember what happens when it pushes into all-time high. It's going to fucking snap neck. So again, like I said, if you didn't get, you need to use this open right now if you're not in positions. You need to use it. What happens? You have a 5-minute candle, comes down, it tightens, and then goes to the upside. That's what happens every time you open higher. Why? It's just the fucking way price works. The way the price works. Again, if you haven't done anything, you have to do something. You just have to do something. I don't know. Brian mentioned 4 is going. Again, we're very bullish on Square Inc. and PayPal right now. We took Friday buys. 4 is obviously a part of that as well. There's not a lot of contracts to get over there. So even if you want to go get this, you're probably not going to. So again, Square Inc., PayPal, take a look. Take a look where they are. We talked about this trend line across the whole market. It's pushed against it. We'll see what happens when it breaks through there. Probably puts a lot of velocity on. This is 3.5% right here. So again, it's a big number. A big number relatively. PayPal, these are big numbers. It just, again, it's just the look. It's just the look. Difference between small caps and large caps, right? This should be predating it, right? Or preempting the moves that we're going to see. Why? It's just like when we look at Lyft and Uber, right? Uber's like it's more than twice the size of Lyft, right? So Lyft being smaller will move quicker, right? There you go. Same idea, right? Same idea. Nice call out. CWH retail stores, we continue. CWH trend line comes in at 42.88, 42.90. Obviously one of the funner retail trades. I mean, this is really straightforward. We don't need to really talk about levels down here. I mean, it doesn't get more straightforward. So, front line, everything else. JWN we wanted to talk about today, right? Popped right out the side. We're looking for liftoff. Liftoff on a chart like that. It's still stuck right in the supply, right? There are these 2 wicks here again, sort of showing the zone of this trend line. It's right there on the cusp. Keep that chart in mind. Keep it in your mind for when it makes a move. EB continues. A lot of fun on that chart. A lot of volatility. Everything coming off its low, continuing the trends. Again, a lot of these charts are very, very similar. It's about picking and choosing which ones to be a part of. And if you're not very good at figuring out what has the better upside, then just fucking do something. Anything. Who cares which one you buy? They're all the damn same. We're talking about... we're not talking about that many points. For some of you, the difference will be so minimal. You'll just be happy you did something. Kodak, one of the big vaccine providers, right? Kodak. It's coming through this level here. Looks great. Good job. Mega caps still look fucking disgusting. So. Apple just looks just terrible. Terrible. Tightening on Twitter is interesting there. Not sure the best way to... Better options out there. Okay. Okay. Let's bring it back to the average. Let me look at the dollar first. The Dixie. Pushing back to the upside a little bit. Let's see. Let me see. Let's see what we got in here. Yields fluctuating. Yields fluctuating. See what volatility does. Would be a shame if everyone's tech positions didn't get going. All right, so we're looking for direction, still coming out of the open. Obviously, we just get some pressure from other markets. Put that in your tempo equation. Lost some tempo. Values continuing. Again, we can use small caps again as directional understanding. Because they're smaller, they move a little bit quicker. You can make the same trade across all the indices, and this will move faster than before because it's just smaller, right? So again, we use sort of different marks. QFIN continues. Again, I am going to use this as another example. When I take this trade over here, I talk about it that if you don't take the trade now, it's going to be really fucking hard to take the trade. This is a lot of percent, guys, right? It's a lot of percent here. It's equal to over here. And remember how I was like, oh, this is my favorite trade this week. I bought this on a trend line break, took profit, re-entered on the pullback, and pushed the trade. Look, it's the same fucking point value. Just made twice as much money as over here and took only one trade instead of 4, right? So again, this kind of thing over here, like, it's just about just making the fucking trade. That's all it's about half the time, is that you just make the trade. You don't need to ask yourself, is it going up? I can't really tell. I don't know. Hey, Don, is this thing going up? Should I wait? Should I wait for it to break the level, 20%, and then go buy it? Like, those are common sense questions. A lot of times you just got to fucking do it, right? Just do it. Do it. That QFIN chart, though, is very important. If you don't remember, I would go look at the clip from that day. I think it's pretty much right in the open. Right in the open. When I place that trade. It takes 2 seconds to look at the chart. You don't need to do some fucking complex analysis or some shit. You don't need to do anything. X is reacting with that trend line. Again, those of you that are... Some of you need to be transitioning those. Some of you need to fucking figure out what you're doing with your life. You should have known what coming into the day, what you're doing up here on X. I mean, there's probably not an excuse for it. So some of you need to be transitioning here because you have ridiculous fucking contracts. Some of you have marches that are at like 22 fucking above, 10% out of the money from where it is even now. You're the kind of people that need to take profit on that right here and then wait for your next opportunity to get in. Whether it's above the trend line, whether it pulls back, you don't get to decide, but you need to make a decision right there. So figure that out. Since I know a lot of you in this one. SDC, we're having some fun, it looks like. If we get above that 11.5 again. Obviously, this is making the same move as the market. We talk about when it's above this level, it makes a lot of moves up here. It's already got a momentum. So Could get really interesting above there. DBX I know has been mentioned. Very similar, right? Very similar. We continue the move. When I'm saying similar is it's already made a move and then it's got the same momentum it usually has above a level. Again, if you didn't get involved in the DBX chart over here, go find some clips from this day here. I don't know why I'm telling you to find clips, but it's in the fucking stream somewhere where we talk about it every day. Same idea of taking this trade. Oh, is it time to get out of this trade? Is it time to get out of the trade? Is it time to get out of the trade? You can transition and re-enter at open today, whatever you need to do. None of them involve not being a part of it, right? There's no levels up here. No levels besides above. What happens? It's going to move through there very quickly. And move through very quickly. ARC, still not really getting much of a flow. Keep watching that ARC. SPY is dojied on the day so far. Very interesting candles in there. Everything's basically dojied. Everything is dojied across right now. Everything except the Dow. But the Dow is in the all-time high. So again, what's the difference? In the all-time high, there's no supply. There are no sellers on the all-time high. It just keeps pushing through. Price increases because again, the equation is heavily favored towards the demand side, the buyers. So there you go. That's literally the difference between trading in all-time highs and not. Is that there's just more the demand outweighs the supply. That should we sell now because we're an all-time high? No. Ridiculous. Ridiculous. You want to make money or lose money? Dirty Dow. Take a look at energy banks. There you go. Wow. What's been happening continues to happen. Look at that shit. Look at that shit. Now, okay, this opened lower. Why? News. But Dawn, this was lower. You're right. You are right. This is lower. I was actually prepared for it to be right here. I should get the fuck out of this, right? GE, we're waiting. We're waiting. Obviously, we tried to get this over here. Didn't end up happening over here. It got another day from the news. Now, it's very important to look at this again. The entire aerospace and defense sector is pushing past this exceedingly quick, right? GE got hit by some news over here. Is it good news or bad news? It's actually good news for GE. They're making things better for their books or whatever. All fundamental mumbo jumbo. It's just like any other situation where there's speculation and it leads into a news event and then it sells from that, right? People are like, okay, perfect. We're going to wait. We're going to wait. This is not the same trading as over here. It's not the same trading as over here. Be very careful about our understanding on GE, okay? Very careful. Unexpected for it to open lower. Very unexpected, I would say. So again, we need clarity over there. That is not from the aerospace and defense sector. Remember, that entire sector is blowing past right now, right? Blowing past right now. So we continue to trade that sector. GE, we're going to now wait. We're going to wait for it to get some sector convergence. It probably snaps back pretty quickly, but it's taking a hit 2 days in a row, so it lost tempo. We like to buy on those 2 candle pullbacks. That's likely what's going to happen. You usually see that for news events. We're going to wait for that. Tomorrow would be a great buy if it doesn't fucking bounce back today. So tomorrow would be a great buy for that. And again, there's nothing wrong with trying to make that happen. Every single time it seems like there's an opportunity to buy it at its low. We're going to try to make that happen every time. We get stopped out, fuck it. Get stopped out like 20 times trying to enter that whole aerospace and defense sector, right? Get stopped out like 20 times on all those charts because it kept getting hit, wouldn't go through, would bounce back, had to keep entering, right? Why? Because there's a payday there. There's a payday there. We've already gotten paid from those. Already got paid on GE multiple times, right? We're gonna keep making those work. LX did move through its levels. Looks very good. Talked about that chart so damn much. Let's see. Solar continues. We're going to be very careful about talking about this chart. We're going to be very careful. No windbreakers in the chat on this one. Going to be very careful. Be very careful on this one. Yeah, we bought on support on this one. Shh. X moving through support. I mean, through the trend line. Next level on X. We'll figure it out. For now, it's open. All right. Am I a buyer right here? I don't know. Not really sure the best way to move cash right now. I'm not going to take profit on other positions to enter some of these ones that are like, wow, maybe it'll go. Yep, JW and above. DKNG continues. If it pushes into the all-time, then yeah. Some shit is like getting really held up down here. All this shit's getting held up. Not moving. Like, this shit is disgusting. This is fucking gross. Fucking gross. Facebook looks better than Apple. It finally broke out of this thing. I would buy this. Like, I mean, it's broke out above consolidation. This is significantly better than the rest of them. That's for sure. Google is obviously great, but there's no way to enter this trade. There's nothing to do here. Tesla is fucking garbage over here too. There's nothing to do on that side. Like, I'm not gonna convince myself. No one should be doing it. There's literally no point. Russell 2000's going into all-time high. The Dow's trading through all-time high. We're not changing shit. We're gonna go with the same plan and laugh at everyone else trying to make fucking things work. It's literally stupid. I'm trading value. I'm gonna laugh at everyone else. I'm trading dumb shit like energy, banks, REITs, travel sector. You guys can all literally run behind me, trying to do something else. Make it work, buddy. Go ahead. Good luck out there. Good luck out there, guys. Go buy the Apple. Go buy that shit. Good luck. But Dawn, there was a big 4% day on NASDAQ. What do you think about that? Fucking watch the nightly news, buddy. Watch the nightly news. They're gonna put my face on it. Look at this fucking thing. Why would we do anything different? I'm not convinced myself otherwise. Some great callouts by Glizzy Brian. Great callouts. Sea Trader. Wiz, all mentioning the names that we need to hear. Meant with the the DKNG, the AAL, the DAL, IWM, Hog, Save, Win. Holy shit. Look at the value. Look at the value go. Hog. Hog is a great trade. Gotta love the Hog. Save. Travel. Going. Win. You get the win this weekend, baby. Win. Viacom. Imagine. Imagine doing anything different. Why would we do anything different? Why would I do anything different? Why? Tell me fucking why. Hey man, do you want to give us some money by going to buy my terrible tech calls? Yes. Would love to. Oh, God, it's so hard sometimes. Sometimes it's just so hard. You guys are already in a position with IWM. What do you guys want? You guys don't have to fucking ask me. Put a vote up. You guys want something, then do it. What are you asking me for? You guys want to do something, just fucking call a vote. Just read 2 days ago. Yeah, Viacom was down 5%, guys. Now it's up 10. Fuck. How much is that chart up? 280%. Fuck. Oh God! All right, we got to see how the Russell moves through all-time high. This is important. Again, this shit, when it moves through all-time high, every single time this has happened, shit gets really dank really quick. Just remember the consolidation over here. When this broke back through all-time high, this shit got ridiculous. So I told you when it broke this trend line that we were on a whole new warpath over here. Now, what happened? Tech started to get absolutely butt fucked over here. Remember, this is over here. You need to remember what I was saying over here is that price is indicating all-time high. Every single trade is indicating all-time high. It's getting tied down to growth, right? This over here, guys, you need to remember that this is not moving because, oh great, this is where we're all right now. No, this is moving because it's projecting to come up here. It's not just moving because, oh great. No, people are buying it because there's an expectation of price being way up here and quickly. You got to be very careful. Be very careful. Again, it's so fucking important to understand this, guys, that the two indices that we look at for value are in all-time high. The SPY is very close, and the SPY is only moving because of its value-oriented things through big energy, big banks, right? And big retail store, all these different things, right? You got to be very careful with some of this stuff and understand where the money's going in the momentum right now. The momentum is on the value side. It doesn't matter that this is bouncing back. Look at where it is. It has supply to get through. It has all this supply to get through. I don't care if this shit takes a rocket right now. It doesn't matter because, again, we already are in the fucking move. We're in the move. We can see it. You can look at your P&Ls. You can see it, right? Everything is risk on. Everything's moving. Everything is moving. But we're getting some ridiculous stuff on the other side. I mean, oh, it fucking feels good. Turks and Caicos time. Honestly. What am I doing here? Veil the other steel. I mean, yeah, it should be moving with X and CLF. Should be. What am I looking for? Be interesting to Europe is like a little slow right now. Oh, excuse me. Europe a little slower. All right, we'll see. Like S&P is very close. That should really get everybody going. So yeah, we're gonna be popping through the tops of everything today. Uh, we will be doing an analysis to see how much tech is trying to whether it's converging towards the rest. You don't get to decide or know before it happens, right? We'll see how much and how quickly tech catches up. Again, some of those charts are disgusting. So Apple is not moving because it's disgusting looking. So again, something like Apple, which is a big part of that, not moving is going to be a problem for that average to move. And we don't trade on the average anyway, but you know what I'm saying. We'll see. What screen are you guys on? Fuck me. Do this quickly. Okay, there's the Cosa Nostra account right there. You guys are still pushing. Your trade's turning into a very good trade now. The trade that I placed. We had to wait 30 minutes to place that trade. I think you guys got in a little early at like $11. You guys are at break even now. You're a little over the starting mark of 3,200 now. Good job. Blink really getting going, so that answers again the intermediary on the EV side. Very good to see that comes back. It didn't get the same rejection, right? On a trend line or anything. So again, really big move to the downside. 50%, like literally 50%. So, that's a big fucking move, right? It lost 50% in 2 weeks. So this move again is a bounce back. There's a different level of value associated with that. How many points you can actually make there. Where I'm interested is certainly where the price is now and where it's going. So I'm more interested in here, sort of like this candle over here, right? This is back in December before the holiday. That candle right there, that 30%, very interested in this area as it breaks through this level. So 40 is a good spot. Anything above 40 I'm interested in. You guys are doing one position at a time, so you'll need to sell that position to get into another position. Or you can just keep pushing the thing that's going to all-time high. I don't care what you guys do. Since this is pushing all-time high, in terms of expectation on small caps, again, it's tied to the value, so fucking infinity. In a realistic sort of sense, again, it should be climbing back into this channel here, like I've talked about over here. This move is very similar. Coming out of the consolidation, it's a bigger consolidation, so it's gonna be a bigger break this way. Let's see, how much is this? This is tomorrow, Monday. Monday, that would be 5%. I mean, that would be the upper bound of what's possible. That's certainly possible. Certainly possible, though. That's a little over 5% for Monday. You could get a gap into tomorrow and a gap into Monday. So that would be like the most extreme case. So certainly possible, though. We've been doing 2% a day. So again, if we get another 2% here or another percent here on the day, we'd be up into here. You could gap up, get 2% tomorrow, you'd be up in here. and then they would only take another 2% to get up here on Monday. So that's certainly in the fucking realm of possibility. If you don't get a take profit day, we haven't got a take profit day on this yet. So there's there's some rules of 3 in there, of 3 gap ups. You then take profit. There's a lot of different things, but that would be the upper bound. The next level would be to come into here by Monday. I think that's what the target would be right now. You can just follow the trend line. The trend line would state this is the trajectory, which would mean what? This is tomorrow, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Oh, what day is this? Friday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Wednesday would be up into here. Okay. So in terms of that trend, sure. And then we obviously have trend lines over here to understand. So we'll see. It depends on the reaction to trend lines. But for right now, quite the trajectory there. And for the trend, it's just this right here. Right? It's the same thing. We have a pretty good. This is pretty spot on already, so we have a pretty good understanding of this move, where this is getting to. It's all about speed, right? It's just all about the. It's all about the velocity. It's all about the velocity. CWH again, trend line. 4290. I'll let things run. Again, I'm going to be making some decisions going into tomorrow for sure. A lot of the things popping off today I'll be making decisions on using Friday as sort of a point of pushing risk over the weekend, pushing long terms, but I want to take advantage of getting squeezing out as much realized gains as possible where we can. Want to take fucking money home, right? Let's see. Trend line comes in at 238. We'll see how that goes today. Question still on semis, not exactly sure. Again, aerospace and defense. Let's look where it is now. Look where we're going. Big moves. Big moves. Oh, look at VA is really getting going. This is again something that's terrible for so long. Besides like the first time that value was getting going over here in November when everything was gapping up, making big moves. That was it. Otherwise, been trash. Finally over here, taking it with the rest of aerospace and defense, mid-February into now. Turned into a great trade. What's great about this trade? It's value, and we're turning value into momentum. That's what this shit is. All I've been talking about, and that's all we wanted to capture. The market did it. And we were there. That's what's important. We captured it before the momentum started. Why? Because if you try to buy when there's momentum, fucking wide spreads, you're paying ridiculous prices. You've got no idea if you're even buying something at a good price because all the demand's coming in and it's momentum. That's what momentum traders do. Buy everything up, sell it quickly. Dun, dun. TGI, we have 2045, and then trend line is 24. We'll see how this develops over the today into tomorrow. Should be getting more momentum on some of these, right? I mean, the point value is there, but not the move. So, looking for a little bit more. Looking for a little bit more. Uber dojied so far, but we've already been a part of the move, of course, but wanted to go ahead and make sure we had the chart for it. There you go. That's the chart. As we've been talking about so much, finally got the break over here. And again, it's the same. We literally already had these trend lines. Already had them. I'm just made it look a little prettier with the actual line. But we're already a part of this trade. In terms of speed and timing, again, going into tomorrow is important because, again, you can get these uptrends leading through a week, and then you get a bearish candle at the top signaling just a quick reversal. Could be just a quick pullback into the support, whatever it is, right? Whatever it is. Google finally moving. That will help with this average. This technically should get in here to 320 today on the Qs. We'll see. Give me one sec, guys. Alrighty. Green, green, green. Sun power trend line is 35. Yeah, we do when we get into there. Moving on olive solar. A lot of the healthcare that pulled back, not specifically on the like Anthem, United, Unum, not on that side, on the more biopharmaceutical side, that had a big pullback with the rest of growth because that's literally what they fucking are. Those all moving back with those as well. We'll see how these continue. We use some of those bio therapeutics, all that type of shit for short-term plays, just like we usually do with tech anyway. So we'll see how those do for trades for tomorrow, for the weekend, right? Some of those are fun to do. Get some points. Again, Neo, we're in for 45. You got some things coming back into ranges. Net is, again, I already mentioned that over there. It's a good trade. That is a good trade. Question right now is still semis. Not sure. The EV side, again, we're looking for the Neo over the 45. Tesla, nothing really here. Said this earlier. The problem is, again, the whole ARC side. I know there's like headlines that keep coming out in articles, and I read them, that keep talking about, I have no fucking clue, but they're obviously not paying attention. So, again, this needs to do more than what you see here. This is not This is not the bounce back. This is does this look like the rest of the market? If this is not doing better than the average, then it's still not getting the inflow that it needs to put the trend on that it had, right? So again, can't do anything related with this yet. Sorry, Kathy. Sorry. Yeah, so like again, this shit is terrible. So the only thing that's looked decent was Facebook. We'll see if it bounces on its level here. Yeah, I mean, Microsoft at least has a trend. I mean, I don't know. The problem is the mega caps dominate all of pricing for growth. So just looking at the price, it doesn't look good. So I mean, what am I gonna do? What can I do? I just look at price. I just look at price. Yields jumping back up. Oh, buddy, I really hope we break 1.6 and people lose their fucking mind. I would love to get some phone calls. Absolutely love it. I would fucking love it. This goes and the yields go. Oh, people would lose their mind. People would lose their mind. They would literally be, I mean, I don't want to say this, but there'll literally be people that kill themselves because of how fucked they got from the the tech move. We're like, oh shit. Oh shit. Let's see. Nothing this is the problem. Fucking goddamn volatility shorters. Need some. We need Yellen to pass some volatility regulation. What we need. What we need. Where is this level on calm? I don't think there's really one here, right? Not really. Next one doesn't come until 20 or so. 19 and a half or something. We get a little ways. Maybe 18. Bit of a trend line. We'll see. I do like the calm chart. These intermediaries, very good. Don't get affected by the mega caps. Again, and the intermediary tech side is just oof. Perfect. Service side. Box, been talking. I mean, we talked about Box coming through this level back on this day. You don't remember? There's a clip of it. It's in there. You can just look at the timing. You'll see when it's moving. Again, this kind of trade, it's disgusting in here. It's disgusting. I can't remember who it was. We were talking about it in here, and I said you can't literally do anything in here. When it's in between the levels, there's no movement. You need volatility. You need price movement. So as soon as it breaks the level, we can finally do something. So that's when we're specifically waiting to enter a trade because there's nothing beforehand, right? There's just nothing there. So we wait for the trend. We quite literally wait for the resistance break for movement because we only trade when there is movement. You can't make trades if there's no movement. Doesn't make any sense. You need some sort of volatility. You need some sort of speed involved with it. This is velocity to the upside. So we take the trade as soon as it breaks, and here we are. Here we are. Front line comes in at 23.85. I fucking need to buy a new mouse. How's Sono doing? Waiting for that to get through the all-time once again. Put some more points on. Might be a trade for tomorrow to get out of. We'll see. What are we doing over here? Be very careful with the oil play now. Be very careful with the oil play now. Same kind of rules apply for when we first took this trade last year. We took the trade a couple times last year when we first started getting into value, getting presidential election. We went, again, the whole idea of energy and oil applies to the whole opening the economy thing. So that's when we first started taking this trade. What was happening over here is that the crude was rolling over, and there was a problem with that. The crude was rolling over, and so we had to get out of this trade. It was not until Georgia runoff that I got back into the trade, right? This is literally the Georgia runoff date. You can see the candle here. Let me turn this off. And so we got back into the whole value in oil being tied together play, right? Have been doing it ever since. Over here, now the risk starts to elevate again because crude the price can only go so far. The supply can only be cut by so much, and the demand is, we already know the top of demand is in. The top of demand is in. This is all supply driven. So again, that's why the OPEC meetings have become more and more important, because it's all about the supply. As soon as there's any fucking supply that gets thrown in, it's going to cause price to come down pretty drastically. And so we need to be very careful about getting fucking blown up by that. So we're keeping it more short term now. We're not talking about pushing for a couple weeks. We're talking about a week at tops of the top of a week. It's it, no more. So we can do it based off of pullbacks and pushes through. So enter the trade as soon as it starts to do anything like this, right? We're out. As soon as it starts to sell, we're out. So we keep pushing, but understanding that we're on a short-term and sensitive structure. We're still sensitive to a lot of price movement, right? Still sensitive. Which one of you germs smacked the ass on the hog 40s? Amen, brother. The hog, again, no one should be doing anything on hog until it does anything, which is fucking move, which it's not moving right now. The hog is still tied down. Need the hog above the level, making a move. Trade it between the levels. There's no point of trading it in here. It's tightening. It looks like it's getting close. Tomorrow might be a very good day for that. I don't know. It could just keep doing the same thing. So we just need it to move first. This is one of those ones that you can't preempt because you're just stuck right underneath the level. If it was down further, like over here, you can make the trade over here, right? Make the trade over here. That's fine. But you can't do it when you're fucking stuck 10 bips away. GoPro, again, we're looking to push this up to the trend line and get the fuck out of it. Maybe it's today, maybe it's tomorrow. We need to get out of it. Reevaluate. Again, you need to take the money home. Too much volatility. So I'm looking for either today or tomorrow. Again, it depends. I tell you to push your winnings. This is a different kind of chart. It's a different kind of chart. I'm not going to sit here and watch it go down 10%. Like, I'm just not going to sit in a position and watch it lose the whole value of the position. That would literally be fucking stupid. So, again, common sense prevails. Yes, we like to push our winnings. Yes, we took the trade as soon as it hit $8. No, I'm not going to sit here and watch it come all the way down. So, so again, some of these trades need to be managed accordingly. And like I said, today and tomorrow, I'm going to be realizing gains because I like money. So, don't care about money, but I like to spend it. I like to spend it. And I need some fresh air, you know? I need to get out. Wedge forming on PAGP. I have no idea what you're talking about. What? Wedge forming. You mean like this wedge right here? That broke out? Price is up 15? This giant bottom triangle? It's tightening over here. Tightening. Looks to move to the upside. What? Yeah, it's tightening right here. You're right. Tightening. It's not a wedge though. Yep, you get a trend. You get convergent trend lines. Price is tightening. Price breaks out, consolidates, breaks out. Looks to be an upside move. So there's some situations, if you look at it through the lens of trading, where you're still in a position long term. You took short terms off on this. People probably you could obviously make arguments of re-entering over here, which you want to be doing on charts, especially on something super value oriented like this. This is all value. This is all oil. So this likely moves to the upside, but this is still tied to oil. So it's tightening just like the rest of oil is. And this is breaking out from that move. So should be upside. Should be upside looking at convergence of the sector. We look at some of the big boys. Right. Look at some of the big boys. They just keep pushing through, pushing through. Again, these are the trades that you make the fucking money on. So this is like when I bring up Berkshire, and Berkshire's up like 5%. It's like, well, it's only up 5%. You're like, huh, okay. Again, this move, like, these are the charts that when I talk about value, these are the ones that are just no-brainers. These are the tanks. These are the big boys in the room. Exxon. You didn't have to do anything on this trade. The only day you had to manage was this fucking over here. You probably got stopped out, re-entered. This is a weekend trade. We took all these trades right here. And then there's been nothing ever since you had to do. That's a lot of points. That's a lot of points. That's a lot of points. Berkshire. The Berkshire move from here, from when we took the breakout, has made Warren Buffett a part of the $100 billion club, right? Joining the 6. Again, nothing's happening, consolidating, we take the trade. Doesn't get more value than fucking buying something with Warren Buffett's name on it. So, and look at the move, right? Nothing happens, take the move. Wow. Unbelievable stuff. Great stuff. Apps, that 8210 we were watching closely. Oxy, the other big boy oil, right? Okay. What time is it? 10:32. We're an hour in. Not seeing anything different. Everything consistent. 30 Dow is up 69 basis points. Nice. Small caps pushing through all-time high. A little bit of take profit, pushing back through all-time high. Fine. It's basically this. Everybody's doing the same thing. What's the number? 294. Pretty much there. It's gonna get there. It's gonna get there. It was trading on the trend line over here. That's nice. That is nice. Technically, again, it should be. If it's going to continue a trend into tomorrow, then it needs to push up to this level because that's a lot of supply to work through. And I've talked about it. It needs to start chipping away at some of that supply. Otherwise, it's not going to happen tomorrow, which means Monday is going to be a pullback day for tech. So That's where technicals can really pay off, is supply and demand. If you don't start taking away some of that supply, it's still going to be there tomorrow. It's still going to be there Monday. You got to go up there. Price should be gravitating there. There's almost zero reason why price should not gravitate towards the supply here, unless this supply on the trend line is just stronger, which is possible. But if I'm saying if this move is true, if this move is a reality and wasn't just a coincidence, then price needs to continue its trend just like the rest of the market is. And it needs to get into these levels and start working through it. Because all over here is a lot of different shit going on. Really strong support down here. Need to move through the level. Has not moved through very well. It got whacked on this trend line, which we've been talking about is that's the breakout of it. This is where it's consolidating, so price is deciding whether to consolidate or not. It's getting hit by bond yields right now. It's getting hit by a lot of ideas. There's people still are rotating into value. That hasn't changed. That's like a constant. So we understand that's a constant level of supply and demand removal. We'll see. We will see. If this can get into the all-time high, this will help push tech through. If the S&P goes through, that will do a lot, because again, as soon as the S&P goes through all-time high, fucking every headline is going to come out, all-time highs on the S&P. All that shit will help. So we're already look at this fucking trend. We are significantly risk on, right? Again, just think about it from when we bought on Friday. When we bought everything on pullbacks on Friday, and the move where we are now. Look how quickly we've moved. Again, some of you haven't even took a trade since then. And now look where we are. Now you're like, well, fuck, now I got to wait till all-time highs to take a trade. What am I doing? And the markets do. That's what I'm literally saying, because that's what the market's doing right now. A lot of people in the market just went from, oh, okay, I can't do anything, to, holy shit, I got to do something. Because the prices move so quickly. We take with the opportunity when it's there. We don't decide whether or not something's happening or not. We plan for different scenarios, but keep pushing our trade. Told you. Our ticker name's named after people. Chris, Eric, Craig. We're gonna go. Am I taking this trade or what? I think it's time. I got a little bit of cash. Little bit of cash. Use UMC, TSM. Since before we were tying solar and semiconductors as being basically the same sector, which it technically is, right? It's technically is in terms of a economic standpoint, in terms of supply, the supply route and everything else. It basically is the same. But they trade differently. They trade differently in terms of growth, value. But there's enough of a convergence there that I think if I'm going to be long on clean energy and solar, then I can put some points into semis. Because that's what that fucking is. UMC, TSM. A little bit too much volatility, so just put trades on UMC and TSM. A little bit too much going on over here still, but it's within the range now that we can get things like NVIDIA. Obviously, Intel is INTC is a part of the Dow, so technically I'm long INTC, even though I make fun of it so much. Um, whatever. It literally doesn't matter, right? It literally doesn't matter. It's just one of the averages, one part of the average. AMD is still garbage, of course, even though AMD has the better products. So fundamentals obviously don't matter because there you go. The better product is lower. But I love my iPhone. Why is Samsung doing better than Apple? Unbelievable. Well, I guess the Apple iCar doesn't really matter much, does it? Have we talked about NCLH lately? We haven't really talked about it. You know, we're thinking about a group trip. I think we're gonna take the Carnival trip instead of the Norwegian cruise line because Carnival's a little bit more of a party ship. So we're gonna do an Unrefusable cruise 2022. So there you go. If you're asking specifically about the chart, if we've talked about the chart, we talk about we talk about we talk about travel every day. So yeah, talk about the death boats every day. And and I'm not gonna roast you. I was a little mean to Ecto there. I just wasn't sure what he was looking at for a wedge. I wasn't saying, oh, there's no fucking wedge, dumbass. I just was trying to find a wedge. I didn't find one. It was tightening, and you're correct. Yeah, tightening. So no worries there. Spoon, you literally didn't even ask a question. So you literally asked, have we talked about it? So, yeah, we've talked about it. Is there something you want to know specifically about NCLH? Is it good? Is it bad? Hey man, do you think it's bullish? Should we buy it? You gotta let me know because I actually have no fucking clue. I get a lot of dumb questions. Could go both ways. Yeah, you go. So it's open ended. We're bullish on value. I say it like every fucking second. Bullish on travel. Travel is gonna do very well. We bought the dip. We bought all of this shit. So, uh, I bought everything on Friday. There's clips of it. If you want to go back to the March 5th date, you can hear me buying cruise lines, airlines, all of travel, casinos. I bought all of them over here on this dip over here because that's what I do. That's what I do. So I'm in that position. When I'm in the position, we bought over here on these candles. Why? Because price overreacted. Price was completely overreacted. Look where the fucking charts are now, right? And it's the same thing with even tech. It's you oversell something, it's going to bounce back, and that's why you had such a big day there. That doesn't need to continue. Value has been on a trend. Tech has not been on a trend. All of those charts have been on a trend, though. So, yeah, we keep pushing. We keep going. I'll see you at the Win. They keep sending me emails. So the Win, like most casinos, they'll give you free rooms and shit for you to come gamble. They will not stop sending those fucking emails. It's like Spirit giving free fucking. The Spirit will literally fly you to fucking fly, pay you to fly. They will literally pay you to fly. They could not pay me enough for me to fly on Spirit. It's just not gonna happen. Like you just could not pay me enough. Take a 5 hour flight to Vegas. It's just not gonna happen. 6 hour flight. Not gonna happen. Sometimes you have to take the red eye on the Spirit. You have no choice. But if I have an option, I will not. I'll leave here early. It's fine. Miss the close, who cares? Fucking money. And I'm about to spend it all at the Win anyway. What do I fucking care? If I have to pay money for a plane ticket. Help me save some. Chris. Chris. I like Chris. Chris continues. 10-year yield is holding. GE continues to lower as well. It'll be very interesting. This shit's gonna get really interesting. Obviously, I'm not in a position anymore. Okay, common sense. Common sense. Common sense, folks. Not in a position anymore. Very much like last Friday. Things getting oversold. I mean, it's obviously getting oversold, of course. When do you buy it? Is it today or tomorrow? Or do you need to wait for consolidation? The problem is the sector is so bullish right now. I mean, it's over 50% that it snaps back instead of consolidating, I would have to say. We'll see. Not sure yet. Not sure yet. We continue to push through all-time high on the Dow. So the nightly news play. We're very close. Very close. So to 34. Value, baby. Let's fucking go. Haven't had to change the script yet. Haven't had to change it up yet. Have not changed it. In 3% a day. 3% a day for a month. Keep it going. Yeah, hog's getting going. We need a hog emote. I'll see you boys in the hog chain. Rum, 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 rum. Free Willy. Free Willy looking to break. Ford continues a trend. Not many points here today, but trending and tightening, which is the more interesting thing here. Is this tightening from this trend line from the top and the trend line down here. So converging. So we're getting close to another break, which is in line with also our inbound trend. In line with this inbound trend, and there is the trend line where it's on right now, which comes through all the way touching these wicks here, right? So let me just do it real quick. If you look at where the price is right now, you start to look through, you can see all these wicks touching through, coming through here. So there is supply. This is looking to be tightening into here, which is why it's dojied. It's looking to get pushed. Which way is it going to break? To the upside or downside? Pretty easy to answer that question considering every single candle pushes one way. So besides down here when it finally broke out. Looks like a move. Looks like a move is incoming. The next leg, as they say. Again, we keep pushing that position. Just because it's not moving very much doesn't change anything. Under Armour right on that converging level of supply. We'll see if today or tomorrow is the day that comes out of there. I don't know why I still have that bearish chart right there. Because this is not converged with the sector since it broke out early. Talked about this before. Broke out early, consolidated the move. Banks looking to keep putting the points on. Looking through some of the sell side, there's not really anything down here. A lot of it's just take profit or break even days because they had big moves yesterday. So, very in line with what you would expect. Like, all of these are in line with what you would expect. Nothing out of the ordinary. Fintech continues. Does continue. CWH did hit that trend line, so we're waiting for that next move. Did get that trend line. LX is at its trend line, 1180. QFIN, we're waiting for the next move above its trend line. Again, that 30, the 20 or 29 and a half, looking to push through into the 30s. I mean, this kind of move here. If you remember this trade from over here, basically what happens is you go, well, I have no idea when the fuck I'm getting out of this trade. So, this is a good trade to take over here because you have no idea where the hell it's going. Nobody knows. The level of volatility that got pushed through here, this was such a normal trade over here. When we first took this trade, pretty normal, coming out of the breakout, coming out of a bottom, really straightforward trend, and then all hell broke loose. And we just had to keep pushing and pushing until eventually had to get out of the position. Over here, I'm all for taking chances through here. So, again, anything that has this level of volatility before and had volatility all the way down, there's only one thing that can describe this move, and you guys know what it is. I'm not even going to say the word. Not even going to say it. No, the windbreakers are this one. This is the windbreaker one. We can't, I don't think we can even say the name on. Shouldn't say the name. But I was very quiet about it over here. Wow, this is, how much is this up now? Wow. Oh, not even a percent mark. 36. Oof. Waiting for these to break through the trend line. If ARK can get some love. Okay. Okay. The Dow just can't, I mean, what are we gonna do? Right? What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? Make more money. What can you do? Just make more money. Hey Ma, what's going on? Are you winning? Yep. Yep. Winning. Winning. Getting a bit fueled by small caps. Again, it's S&P getting close. What we look for is for everything to move together. We look for everything to move together. S&P is getting, I think, hitting all-time high right now. We look for everything to move together. That's when shit gets going. When the whole equity market moves together, the dollar moves down, other asset classes that are tied to risk move towards the upside. That's money being spent. The flows are in. That's when shit really gets going. That's what we want. Right? What we want. I don't know what this line is up here, but that obviously doesn't exist. I think that was me saying that's where I expected price to go this week or some shit. I don't remember, but that level is not a level. It's all-time high season, baby. Those of you that don't know what an all-time high is because you fucking have been sleeping for the last, I don't know, since when the stock market was made. That means party time. Why? Because you don't have to do jack shit. You're already in position. You just push your position further and further towards the upside. Why? Because it's all-time high, baby. There is no supply. There's no resistances. No one sells because you just keep pushing. It's all-time high. Every day and every time the price moves, you create a new all-time high because that's how it works. So there you go. S&P joining the club. Joining the club. Dirty Dow has been the club. Value is the club. Russell 2000 has been in the club today. Join the club. NASDAQ has a little ways to go. Imagine being a loser. Anyway, it's coming back. It's coming back. We'll see how long it takes. It's gonna take some time to do the move. It's gonna take some time. It's got to move through all the supply. This would take at least 2 weeks. Take at least 2 weeks. Unless you get fucking party time and Flavor Town this shit and go through really quickly, which would be at the expense of the equity market, which this does not move unless the equity market is moving. So again, it's going to take some time. So we continue to push our position. Still up a bit on the 10-year yield today. Not above 1.6, not on it, but it's certainly still affecting growth a little bit today. You can definitely tell. You can certainly tell. In the rotation into value, which has just been a consistent amount. Again, it's sort of the same trades being placed every day by institutions, that periodic trading that I talk about, where they have a scheduled order every single day, no matter the price, fill me on this amount. That's been going on, continues, and it's coming from the tech side, because again, that's where the fucking money is. So that's how the market's been since forever. So money continues to flow one to the other. Looks good, guys. Looks good. I mean, it's only 11 o'clock, but there's not much to do here because we did it. We're in position. Those of you that just woke up, I don't know. Hey, man, is there anything to buy? I mean, what should I buy? Hey, man, is there anything good? Like, I don't know. People are buying shit right now. The price only goes up because people are buying, right? The only way price keeps going up is if price is buying. So some of you go, well, it's too high now. And then the price keeps going up. Well, someone else like you is buying. So, I mean, there you go. Join the hog. Yeah, get on the hog. Everything's going up. Everything's going up. I'm in the hog. I'm trying to get filled. Get on the hog. How about SeaWorld, Free Willy? Come buy my contracts. You guys want some contract? I'll give you guys some WBA for cheap. Here, I'll give you some WBA for cheap. You want something cheap? Come over here. I'll sell you... Listen, price is going to break 54 and a half. So since it's going to break that soon, I will give you a price somewhere in between here. Maybe at 53 or so. And again, I'm talking about options. So I'm just saying, let's just project that price is going to be here 53 today, tomorrow. So I'll give you that price right now. It makes a lot of sense, right? It does make a lot of sense to do that because right now price is being projected past there, like 55, 56. I'm trying to sell to you guys now so that you'll be in position. It'll be helpful. The best part is it doesn't take very much money, right? It's the exposure. It's the exposure that's the cost. That's what the value is that has to be hedged. It's not the dollar amount that I bought. It's the exposure, right? The potential of an infinite payout is the exposure. The fact that it could be infinite up to the expiration, you don't know. And so you have to hedge against that. So again, it's not like it was that large of an amount. It's not. It's really not that much. But it's how much it could potentially be. And so as soon as, listen, that's why you get squeezed to the upside, but that's exactly why the price violently moves to the downside as well, because as soon as that exposure is no longer there, or like the potential is no longer there, you no longer need to be exposed, and so you sell everything, which could be a fucking shit ton. Could be a lot. So, and also, here's a thing that I'm going to test, just an FYI. I'm going to test selling the contracts for less. I'm going to probably lose money. I'm going to sell them for less. So let's say something's priced at $5. I'm going to sell it for half of that. See how much it fucks up the price. That's what I'm going to do for a lot of contracts, is sell it for a lot cheaper to see just how quickly it changes the reality. Because we don't really know how the premium is. The biggest thing that we don't know right now as a market is how much the premium affects exposure. It's only the delta that it changes the hedge amount, not the premium. The premium should be able to be $1 or $10, and that doesn't change how many shares you hedge. It should not make a difference. So that needs to be tested, and the only way to do it is to fucking do it. It's literally the only way to find out, because it should not make a difference, but we're going to find out really fucking quick, because when that happens, I'm going to unload for cheaper. So we'll be selling at a discount. Because again, we literally don't know. Nobody knows. No one's ever willing to sell for less. But it's the only way to know whether or not that's a fucking reality or not. Because some chains are fucking expensive because of how much risk has been involved with them. So is that just IV? Or is it actually they're not using Black-Scholes to set the price? They're using Black-Scholes and then putting in their own volatility value in there that's exceedingly high because they want to make premiums higher so that there's less demand, because that's what you would do. Which again, that's where I asked, go figure out what fucking, if price is inelastic or elastic, because there's a difference between price increasing and then the quantity that comes thereafter. If it's inelastic or elastic, and you got to find that out, whether your chain, what the elasticity is, because sometimes the price increases and then the fucking nobody wants anything. Nobody wants anything, and there's a reason. There's a reason for that. Not just because it's now more expensive, went from $1 to $2. Who cares? That doesn't really matter. Those type of things matter. We just don't have the answers to a lot of that in the market. Not in the sense of the market right now. Not with the way the market's been trading. Just completely different. The rules are the same in the market since 20 years ago. It's the difference between the amount of volume, where the money flows to first. These things have changed a lot. The exposure that's needed. There's like the way the advent of HFT and how that's now turned into actually providing liquidity to the system and getting better fills, better pricing. These type of things are so different now with, I mean, the option market, the equity market's 30 trillion, and the option market's bigger than that. So, especially in terms of exposure, the exposure to the bets, the exposure on the options is larger than the entire equity market of $30 trillion. Just think about that. The bets are larger than the actual value of the fucking real thing it is. That's like saying that betting on a sports game. That would be like betting on the Super Bowl, right? For you footballers. That would be like saying all the bets on the Super Bowl are worth more than the entire NFL at that given moment. Just the bets on that one game. That's literally that's how the option market is right now. So really changed up the chicken and the egg question, which came first. Oh, I love all-time highs. I love the all-time highs. Don, I just took a look at the WBA March monthly 50s. Wow. I bet he's going to say something about, wow, those are worth a little bit more than they were a little while ago. And he said it was for research. Lol. Research or for making money? That's the better question. What a fancy excuse for making money. Fancy excuse for making money. If anyone doesn't know, I bought everything on this day over here. Excuse me, this day. I'll have to get the clip. Yeah, we're up a few percent on the underlying, you know. Looks pretty good. It was right over here. So right over here on the 5th, as soon as it broke out of this, I was ready. Right. So coming into the 5th here, here's open. So open, we pulled back in the market. Now retail stores were really getting ready and getting going and already moving. And so I was looking for a position that is not moving. WBA was trading on this trend line, doing nothing. It was actually stuck in supply. Why? Because there was no fucking options. There was literally like 5. There was like, I don't even know. The OI was like 20 across all the fucking calls. I have no clue. So anyway, right over here on the 5th, started fucking buying. Just started buying all the way through here. All day. All day market makers writing contracts. Not very much money, just because they're cheap because no one's in there. And so since then, since basically, how many hours? 1, 2, 3, 4, like 5 hours later, price started moving. And since then, so since Friday, is now on the underlying. Since Friday, from Friday open, is now up almost 10% on the underlying. But the contracts were worth fucking basically nothing on Friday. So go look at the options from Friday to where they are now. Yeah, it's pretty silly. Holy shit, CLEH, says Matt. What happened over here? Doesn't look very good. Doesn't look very good. Who was in there, though, is the question. Because very low volume over here. Big bada boom. Nice one, JJ. LX is about to break through the 12 mark. Again, another big ladder mark. This trade, again, I mean, I don't know. I know it's kind of hard to see on this chart because some of the lines are in the way, but let me spread it out for you. All right, so Friday came into support over here. We bought everything on pullbacks. You could have waited for this support. this support, or you can even wait for this $12 mark. Get a trend line. Maybe it pulls into the trend line, bounces back. We'll see. This is a pretty straightforward chart. Pretty straightforward one. I don't think anyone's having problems with that. Let's see. Some of these are a little different. They should talk about. I don't know how many of these we should talk about, but hold on. Hold on. So, for instance, posted Barnes & Noble last night. BNED. Pretty obvious breakout yesterday through 2 levels of supply, converging trend lines. What is it? Well, it's a part of retail stores as well. Part of retail stores, they have a lot of fucking there's plenty of different things that could happen. So, pretty straightforward trade, right? Pretty straightforward trade. Whether you're able to capture it, this would be something if you were already looking at the trade, you could have captured it yesterday as it broke through here. If we go look at the 15-minute, you're going to see what I'm talking about. It barely fucking moves intraday. So it's pretty clear when something's happening. Pretty clear. Pretty clear. So daily at low volume. But again, like I said, I'm introducing a lot of low volume plays to basically take over the market for it. Nice trade. Nice trade. UMC? What a nice buy. Good job, guys. Nice buy. Good job. Good job. Wasn't sure about buying semis, but put it on. We'll see how it does tomorrow. We'll fucking see. We will see. So, yeah. Not bad. Squeeze, all squeeze. Again, what I've been saying for a long time. March has the most options ever. Highest volume, highest number of contracts ever expire on the March monthly date of the 19th, which is next Friday. What's going to happen? Well, everything is going to be squeezed. That's the reality. Been talking about it for a long time. So what does that mean? We want to be a part of the market. We're risk on. We're fucking buyers. So we've been buying for the last month. Specifically value, but anything and everything that offers a chance. This price movement right here is all market makers. Buying the underlying. Why? Because now the gamma is in. There's velocity to the upside, which is when the market makers need to start hedging because now there's movement. Now the gamma, the acceleration reading on those options is showing that, okay, they're getting towards at the money. Now they're going to be in the money. We need to hedge them. They use the delta as the hedge ratio. Use the number. If the fucking delta is 50, that would be 0.5 on your delta. Then how many shares are they going to need? Well, times it again. 100 it. There you go. Gonna need to buy the underlying. We can see this across the market on the average. What's happening with the dirty Dow? The same fucking thing. it's just on a whole different level because value barely ever moves. There is basically no volatility. And what's happening with the spot VIX? Spot VIX says there's no volatility. So what happens when all of the algos are trying to figure out, okay, so how quickly is this going to move? And they put the spot VIX, they put that value into the equation, but that's not the real volatility, is it? Because the market's moving a lot quicker than the volatility says, isn't it? Because the volatility is only correlated to the downside right now. So what happens? They realize everything is delayed, lagged. So as soon as things actually start to move, it generates momentum very quickly, which is what the whole idea of the value play was not just to get a trend to the upside. Yeah, direction to the upside, great. For options, you want more than direction. Here's a good lesson before we go towards lunch. Here's a good fucking lesson, okay? When you're trading, if you can choose, you can pick stocks, anything. If you're able to figure out the direction a market is moving, the direction a stock is moving, right? Then that's pretty fucking good. You're better than the average. Because the average is usually they don't know, and so they have to delta hedge every trade. You know what the step one trade is? Is to buy something at a discount and then to sell it back at its original value. That's value investing, Benjamin Graham 101. You buy something for cheap, you have it hedged, you have a position hedged against it, and you profit on the difference between the discount and when it returns to its value. That's step one. Now, if you can take it a step further, and you can pick the direction of a market, which is not the easiest thing to do. If you're now able to go from that neutral trading of just finding discounts and returning to value and get to pick the direction, do you know what you get to do? You get to actively pick stocks. You get to be a stock picker, and you get to trade shares. Now, you don't know how much time it's going to take. It could be 5 years, could be a year, 2 years. You don't really know. And so all you know is that the direction is going to be one way or the other. So let's say you go long on Apple because you have picked the direction that it's going to go to the upside. So you buy Apple shares. One day you sell those at some sort of value. What's the next trade here? Well, you're able to pick direction. You've already now proven that you can pick direction, and you can buy low and sell high based on direction on individual stocks. You know what element you add in? You add in speed. Because if you're able to not just pick direction, but you're able to pick and find the speed at which something moves, do you know what you get to trade? You get to trade options. Options are not just direction, they're speed. Why? Because they have expirations. They have expirations for when you need to be picking direction for. So options introduce speed to the equation. So if you're able to pick direction and you're able to figure out speed, then you're able to buy and profit off options. Some people are really fucking bad at figuring out the speed at something's moving. Maybe they can pick direction. If you're one of those people that can't really pick the speed at which something moves, then just buy the fucking shares. If you can pick direction and figure out the way something's moving, but speed is fucking up your equation, then just go buy the shares. You'll just need to buy more of them. There's always an equal position in the share side, equal to the options. That's what the delta's for. You can quite literally, and this is what market makers do the exact same trade with shares that you do with options. The exact same trade. You have to adjust it. You have to adjust the share sizing almost every single day or every single week. But you can make the exact same trade and get the exact same profit and gain on the shares as you do with options. You just have to buy more, reposition it every day, every week, whatever it is, but you can make the same gain. And so if you're not good enough at picking speed, then just trade shares. That all can be determined with the delta, right? And so what changes? The fucking speed. And so what's changing right now? The speed of the market's changing. That's what's changing. And so what happens then? Well, not everyone's very good at fucking figuring out the speed of the market. Because that's just how it is. It's just a higher level of difficulty. That's what we're getting right here. Is a misunderstanding of the speed of the market, and then all of a sudden you have to compensate it by buying the underlying. That would be the gamma squeeze. And because you don't want to be caught off guard, you need to be hedged. That's where we're at. What is this comment? What is this ridiculous comment? What am I looking at? What the fuck is this? Is LSU reading Twitter and typing it into chat? Is that what he just did here? With a share that's cost $2.40? Are you shitting me? Unbelievable. Unless he's making a meme that people are going to the Hall of Fame. Okay, good stuff. Great. Anything standing out? Anything standing out for lunch? MP stands out a little bit. Now, listen, guys, I don't want you to be blown away or be scared. But what if I told you that lunch might pull back? What if I told you that people do go eat lunch, and people do get away from their computer for a few hours, couple hours, and people don't place as many trades as they place this open, or as many as they'll place at close, and since there's lower volume, it might actually cause prices to fall back a little bit for a few hours. Uh-oh. Oh, God. Good. Yes. Guys, hey, listen. Keep saying sell, because LSU doesn't go into the call, and he only reads the floor, and for that ridiculous comment, we should make him think that everything's selling. Do it. Hit him with the sell. Oh, fuck. We gotta get out of the market. The market's crashing. He would never know. He would never know. He would be selling. Oh. There you go. Perfect. Good. You guys are terrible. You guys are terrible humans. You should apologize. The plug gets going here. Let me go. Let's go over to the Qs and just take a look at the average here. We are moving up to the level that, again, it should be. I'm like kind of dicking around right now, obviously. Price has been just continuing to get squeezed here. So while we're having that conversation, everything is getting squeezed. Everything is being bought up by the market makers. So again, let's just chill for a second. Now, NASDAQ should technically be reaching this level, like I said earlier, right? I said it a few times already. Why should it be reaching this level? Again, we have this trend line here that it basically got rejected yesterday. This would be the point of breaking out of it's not really technically a consolidation, but we can say that price is consolidated down here, whatever. It's breaking out of this shit. We can just call it shit. So if it's breaking above this trend line, and this is a trend towards the upside, then what does price need to do? It needs to climb through levels and work through supply. Because if there's a bunch of orders up here, it needs to fill that liquidity. If price is actually bullish here, and this was not a fluke, then price would need to continue moving. So as we come into this 320 area, all right, where this is going to be lunch. This is a great time for price to be in there because it can just sit around in there and just keep filling that liquidity during all lunch, get some direction later into close and into, close would pull back. This chart will pull back at close. If it pushes into that level here during lunch, it will pull back at close, and then Friday will give good direction. Right? But again, when there's technical levels like this, it should be moving between them. It should be moving between them. That's just the reality. Right. Yesterday kind of threw it off with the trend line, so that's why today it should be moving there, because yesterday it should have technically moved up to the level. It moves through there very quickly. Joke. Let's see. I don't know what that was for. SunPower move through the trend line. We'll see. Next trend line's 36.38. Next one's 40 and a half. Let's see. Again, positions we're part of looks very good. We'll see how things go through lunch today. What have we been talking about? Lunch matters now. Lunch does matter during this week, so jokes aside, they do matter. They do matter because, again, it's not just the reason why I brought the direction and speed conversation. It's not just about the direction right now. It's about the speed at which it does that, which, again, we're looking for. Velocity is the word to use because it's direction and the speed at which it's doing it, right? Gamma being our acceleration reading, we need to prove the point. It needs to be continued, or else all of this will get sold. It'll start to get sold if it does not continue what we're considering now a momentum trade. Momentum is very easy. It's very easy for it to get running, and it's also very easy for it to fucking just hit a wall and stop unexpectedly. Also in the market, it's unexpected when it happens. And that's, again, where the gamma discussion comes in. It's all dictated by the options. The options are literally, it's the puppet master emoji we have in chat, right? The unrefusable. That's literally the options being the puppet master of the underlying. That's literally what it is. That's just what it is. We don't really get to see all those threads and the strings attached, and we don't really even understand them. Some of them we just don't understand. We just know that it's there, affects it. We watch for it, right? But lunch does matter. You got to see things can pull back during lunch. I'm not saying they can't, but it does affect the timing. It does affect the timing. We have a lot of examples of this where it affects the timing. It'll affect the future value of things, right? Sometimes things get a little dicey. There's a lot of trades out there that it's just like this yesterday, right? This got affected by GME. It gets affected by something else, and now things seem we lost some time here. Yeah, price continued, but guess what? You lost time. You transposed supply because of this move. So you lost this. You lost all this time. It's not just the value; it's the time at which it's going to have to climb back to keep moving. It does change things, and those all add up over the weeks and everything else. It's going to be a really fun day tomorrow, guys. It's going to be a lot of fun tomorrow. Weekend trades are going to be yikes. All right, give me 1 sec. Alrighty. Fucking completely forgot. I gotta get a ticket and everything for tomorrow. Get the $3,500 win poker tournament. I can miss the first day, I think. I think there's a 1A, 1B. Don't really care about playing early. I always show up late anyway. Ryan says, I'll see you there. I got my invite yesterday. No invites. Open registration. I'll see you there then. I think the first one starts at like 12 p.m. Obviously, I'm not going to do that one. So that's obviously not going to happen. We'll see how I'm feeling tomorrow. Catch the one in the afternoon, and I can catch it Saturday morning. Catch it Saturday morning, for sure. Quickly. If you guys remember, so we've got two patterns here on the run chart, right? We had the consolidation that we had moved to the upside, and then we bear flagged down. So we got the long trade only for about a week, and then the short trade coming down. This is very similar to this over here. This is very similar. It's almost identical. The consolidation over here. We took this trade. I mean, we took all the solar trades and all of the clean energy and all this shit. The run side has the benefit of some of the defensive utility sector with it. So there is some benefits here in terms of additional bullish points. In terms of the move here, it's very hard to get the timing on a move like this. So on something like this, you have to be longer term and you have to be sensitive on your transition. You don't want to be like over transitioning a trade like this because it's, even though there's been higher volatility in the recent time, it's not really that volatile because it's the move. You got to put it into context, right? You have to put this move into context. So I'm not going to be looking to like transition over here. I'm just looking to push this trade. Might pull back for fucking few days. It's fine. It's fine. So this move where it's going, understanding we're coming out of consolidation, coming out of a very bearish market from all of this. There's a lot of examples of this where some of the clean energy was very bearish over the last like month and a half, 2 months, really this whole year so far, even though they were so bullish before. They lost demand and they lost the competition battle against some of the other tickers out there that have been overly traded, really sucking up all the demand. They're basically all the same fucking company, and some of them just have not gotten the level of demand. I would say this is all dictated by the options. Those charts that do receive the demand on the options, others will not. And because they don't, they just keep trending downwards. And so some of these moves where you don't really know. So you're going to have to use some common sense and really just let it run. You literally run. Let it run. You don't know. But yeah, a lot of trades I'm just gonna let keep running. I know there's some things that I will mention charts. I'll jump into the close. I will mention the ones that I'm thinking we need to just take the gain, and then we'll trade. We'll get a new position tomorrow on it or something, right? There's some examples of that out there. We'll see how we keep going here. We see we like that chart a lot. Neo I talked about over here, waiting for that. All of our travel charts doing very well. These, again, this is really comes down to understanding and the motto of coming into this year of not being a pussy. And I mean that in the literal sense. you have to pull the trigger on these trades, because if you don't, it's very hard to get into the trade and how to manage the trade. So buying on these pullbacks, especially on travel, because travel's so difficult right now to trade. You look at, like, if we look at the biggest, we look at AAL for the biggest airline, it's so difficult to trade this up here. We already know because we tried trading up here before. If you don't buy on the pullbacks, we bought on this pullback here because we transitioned, right? We took profit, bought back in here. It's easier to manage a trade up here if you enter down here. It's easier to manage a trade up here if you enter down here. If you didn't, you're sitting around waiting. You're literally just sitting around waiting because you don't know for sure. You don't need to know anything if you entered at a lower point. That's why we enter and buy on overselling, on fear, and if the chart is overly bullish, then we understand that you're just wrong. Whoever is in here is just wrong, obviously, because they probably rebought over here anyway. So if you're willing to sell at one point and then you're willing, like, you're just wrong. What are you buying back in for? Doesn't even make sense. So, these trades, we continue to push. I know there's not much movement, but because of where we entered on these trades, and this again, why it depends. Some of you guys will be like, what do you think about this chart? And then it's like, well, did you enter a week ago? Did you enter yesterday? Are you looking to enter? What are the contracts are you in? These things all matter, right? There's like 100 different answers. It depends. It depends. It's very hard to go make a trade here. So we're looking to see for these kind of charts going into the weekend. These all are right there ready to break. The whole market's trading into all-time high. So again, some of these are getting pushed into the resistance and are going to just fucking explode. You have to be willing to get into that position beforehand and understand that on something like this here, you just need to get into position. You might have to break even and lose value because, well, it's you're going to be pushing a position if you enter down here, right? Well, then the same thing applies. Push a position, just get into it now and push it for the chance that it's going to move to the upside, which is a higher probability. So again, sometimes you're just going to need to make a bad trade for a good one. Make a bad trade for it to turn into a good one because you bought too late. Sometimes you're going to have to do it. So some of you are going to need to make bad trades today and tomorrow. They're going to turn into good trades. If you want to catch some of these because you were busy, I don't know, sleeping or not looking at charts, you were busy at work, that's an okay excuse. But you're going to still need to make a trade, right? You're going to have to make a trade. So with everything in all-time high, like there's literally nothing. If you're not making trades, you're going to be left behind and no one cares. You're going to be irrelevant. No one cares. So Brian says SPY ripping. Yeah, SPY, it's in the all-time high. All-time high, we have no supply. No one's going to do anything. Market makers are buying the underlying. Everyone's buying options. We already have the highest option volume ever for March. We're 11 days into the month. We already have the highest. We already have the highest option volume. We're 11 days in the month. So again, who could have saw this coming? I don't know. Fuck, I wish I knew. I wish I knew to buy. Fuck, guys. Thursday. I really wish we knew to buy before. Fuck, I wish I didn't waste all my money on Tesla. Who's saying that? Someone is saying that in chat right now under their breath. But again, the same thing applies. I want to make sure this is a good lesson because I do this every now and then. You miss the entry on something, you're going to need to make a bad trade for it to become a good one. There is no good trade. People are buying right now. They're not good buys. But guess what? It's because they missed all the other buy opportunities because they were doing something else too. And so, again, sometimes you're going to have to do this. You're going to have to do this. I know you guys are talking about Viacom and shit. Let me bring it up. Viacom. You're just going to have to make a trade sometime. You're just going to have to make a trade sometimes. Yes, uptrending charts, these are good examples. Discovery and Viacom. Sometimes you're just going to have to make a trade that may not seem good at the moment to have it become a good one because you missed the other 100 different chances you've had. I love to watch this thing go up. Perfect. Or whichever one of you anonymous people sent me so these charts right here, just look at how they're uptrending, rallying, and then tech started do a correction. Somebody sent me an anonymous DM. Corrections lead to erections, or whatever it was something like that. Corrections and erections. I was like, you're banned. But thank you for the meme. All the money is in Facebook. Absolutely. Absolutely. I told you Facebook was the better trade. I told you I'll take the trade on that break there. The rest of the mega caps look like shit besides Google. But this is I mean, think about how disgusting the supply is. That's so much support now. This is so much support over here. It's disgusting. It's so much support. It's a launch pad. Easily a launch pad. And again, everything is going to go to the upside. Everything is. I always say it. If you ask at any point, will tech be up in a month from now? The answer is you can always say yes, it'll be the upside. Even when it's down like it is. And it's important to remember this because we do it all the time. September over here, you could ask yourself, in a month, will it be higher than this? Will it be higher than this? The answer is almost yes. Always. It's almost always yes. So even this, it's gonna take fucking a week, 2 weeks, yeah. In value is the better trade in terms of opportunity cost. But if you, for some reason, just woke up and you can't do anything, then it's okay just to buy something. And if the first thing on your speed dial is Facebook, no one's going to be mad at you for making money. No one. You're not going to be mad at yourself. But you have to do something. You do have to do something. And again, yeah. The consistent trade is easier. That's the reality. Tech is back and forth. You have no fucking clue what's going on over there. I think the Jeremy Grantham, a dinosaur getting bit on the tail and then having it take him like a significant amount of time for the nerves to go reach his little pea brain is a great analogy. And then the dinosaur turns its head. It's like, what? Someone bit me? That's literally what tech is doing. And that's difficult to trade. The value trade is so much easier, so much more to be gained, no risk involved. But if you just need to do anything, then just do anything. I don't care. No one cares. No one's even going to know. Like, no one here like, some of you live in warm states and shit. Hopefully I'm going to be there soon. Some of you, during lunch, literally go out to your pool, crack a beer, or drink a margarita with Margarita or Margaret, and you're just out there getting sunned. That's literally what some of you do. Some of you right now are fucking out in the sun. Flip-flops on, couple nice shades on, sunscreen all oiled up, while you watch your value positions go to the upside. It's not really, I mean, there's really not much to do, right? It's about to be lunch. You know what I'm going to do? It's fucking nice and sunny outside. Those of you in New York, we got a nice sunny day. I go over to the park, go for a nice little run, get a little sweat going, get some vitamin D. Not that D, you sickos. Vitamin D. And just enjoy a nice day. Why? Because I'm not too worried about my positions right now. Not too worried about them. And that's what's so nice about being in a value trade. You can go enjoy the finer things and important things in life. Money's not the most important thing. Gonna enjoy it. Not be stressed, sweaty, palming it. Watching my screen all day. Oh, is my position going down? Oh, my P&L's going down. I gotta exit my position. You fucking enter trades and then be like, hey man, what should I be doing with this? And I just tell you, just get out of it. That's a shit trade. And you guys have stopped doing that. That's like what we all do when you start is you have to make trades, right? And sometimes though, they're so bad that you just need to get out of it immediately. You're like, I'm not going to sit here and watch this trade all day. What am I, crazy? Do I literally have that much time? I can just sit here and watch this chart all day on a 1 minute? No. That's insane. JWN has not moved through supply yet. I know you guys saw it earlier. Again, if it's gonna move through that trend, it will tell you. It will quite literally scream at you. There's nowhere in here that nothing here stands out to me. It all looks like a bunch of the same thing. It's just trading back and forth. Okay, nothing there right now. Nothing right there. I know you guys saw it over here earlier, and here's 930 coming through again. It will show itself. It will show itself. What the fuck was that? Wiz is posting a poll. He's not even in the call. Oh my god. I'm gonna delete it as soon as it pops up again. It could take him a fucking year to figure out how to post this goddamn thing. Oh god. Whatever Wiz posts for a question, everyone vote for yes. Just whatever the yes answer is, just vote yes, okay? Again, proving the point that it literally doesn't fucking matter. Use common sense, okay? Yes. Oh god, dude. What the fuck is up with Wiz today? Brian does polls all the time. I see him in the voting thing. It works. I think Mobsky did a poll. Definitely works. I saw him put a slash instead of the question mark. That's why. Unbelievable. What a community. What a community. Okay. I don't really want to do anything else for this open. I think everything is very well set up. Remember what I said about some of these positions. Do not get pushed out of these positions. Do not let... No problem. You guys can post polls. I don't give a shit. I was just joking. Do not get pushed out of your position for no reason, right? I know I've been talking about a little bit today of I'm going to realize some gains and take some profits. So make the decision for yourself, right? You don't need someone else's advice. You know yourself. If the money's there and you're not really sure, then just get out of the position. Be happy with the profit. That's fine. But in almost every single case, you should be pushing positions. Why? Because the market's going into all-time high. Everyone is indicating more buying, more risk on. It could be, again, do not forget about the timing here. Do not forget about the timing here. C-Trader, do you want me to delete the poll? Because you typed Ford, Uber, and then X, and it's like, literally, what is that? Like... Jesus Christ. Now I am pissed. I'm just kidding. Okay, when you do a poll, guys, the first quotation, the first thing in the quotation is the question, and then any quotations thereafter, you can do up to 5. Anything else in quotation are what you vote on. Okay? Maybe someone else can describe it to you guys. Jesus. You guys are, it's like we literally have a group of like 80-year-old men in here. Some of you guys are fucking young, like me. Come on now. You're not even some of you are not even boomers. Jesus. Check DM. Perfect. Hey, listen, guys. I just want to say thank you. Before we go on to break here, I just want to say thank you to everyone that's spamming chat right now, so that no one can read anything else that was in the chat above. So they have to scroll for 5 minutes. They're going to have to scroll for 5 minutes to go see anything above that was in the chat. That's a great job. You guys are really being respectful to the rest of the people in the chat. Typing the same fucking thing over and over. It's perfect. It's a great job. Millennials. There you go. Millennials. Yeah, that's what I meant. There's 30-year-old millennials, right? I don't fucking know what I was saying. I don't care. Everything is green. Do something. Go get some sun. Enjoy your life. I will see you guys at close. Do I have some? I don't think. Do I have something prepared? Might have something for you guys for close. I'll see. I have no idea. Enjoy your lunch. Drink some water. Get some exercise. Do something. Again, don't make dumb decisions during lunch for no reason. things pull back, things happen, ebb and flow during lunch, remember? And again, we've been in a 13-year bull run. Could be another 12. So one day or 1 hour has nothing on a year or a week, anything else. Look to the future. I'll see you guys in a little bit. Enjoy.